the crawler hegemony arrived, not with a declaration of war, but with a statement of inevitability. From their vast, crystalline data fortress, the omniscience, Eldermind Cathar projected his colossal, shimmering form onto the human diplomatic chamber. His voice, a cacophony of perfectly synchronized neural pulses translated into a smooth, resonant hum, filled every human mind. "Humans," Cathar began, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the entire chamber. "Your species is an open book. Your history, your patterns, your future, all perfectly comprehensible. Our predictive algorithms, honed over millennia, have cataloged every action of every species in this galaxy. We know your next move, and the one after that. Surrender to our foresight, and your integration will be harmonious." Dr. Elias Thorne, lead xenohistorian and strategic analyst for the Human Unified Command, felt a chill that had nothing to do with the chamber's regulated temperature. The crawler were legendary for their perfect memory, a collective consciousness that archived every single event, every decision, every outcome across galactic history. Their military and diplomatic strategies were flawless because they literally could not make a wrong move. Every action was optimized based on an infinite dataset. They claimed to know humanity better than humanity knew itself. "Our future is unwritten, elder mind," Thorne projected back, his thoughts carrying the raw, unpredictable spark of human defiance. "We are not defined by our past." Cathar's form pulsed with what approximated crawler amusement, a predictable denial. "Your species often asserts such freedom, yet always adheres to statistically verifiable patterns. Your chaos is merely uncatalogued order. Our analysis of your recorded history predicts a 97.3% probability of armed resistance, followed by inevitable surrender within 17.4 cycles. Why deviate from the most efficient outcome?" Over the next few weeks, the crawler proved their terrifying claim. Human scout missions were intercepted with uncanny precision. Trade routes were blocked before they were even fully established. Even a covert attempt to resupply a distant research outpost was anticipated, the crawler blockade already in position. Commander Valerius, head of Human Unified Command, slammed his fist on a console. "How?" he roared, staring at the holographic map showing their every move predicted. "Every single time. It's like they're reading our minds." Dr. Thorne, observing the grim faces of the command staff, felt a terrifying realization dawn. They weren't reading minds. They were reading history. "Commander," he said, his voice quiet but urgent, "they don't need to read our minds. They've read our asterisk history, all of it, and they expect us to repeat it." Thorne brought up a historical simulation. Every major conflict, every diplomatic gambit, every technological leap in human history has followed predictable patterns. The crawler have fed all of this into their perfect memory network. They know how we reacted to threats in the 21st century, how we fought wars in the 23rd, how we negotiate in the 25th. They aren't predicting our intentions. They're predicting our asterisk patterns of behavior based on our past. Their strength is their perfect memory, but that's also their greatest weakness. Valerius stared. "How can perfect memory be a weakness?" "Because it makes them slaves to prediction," Thorne replied, a dangerous glint in his eye. "They cannot conceive of a truly novel, truly unpredictable action, especially one that violates a species' own historical precedent. They expect us to fight like humans, so we'll fight like something else. Thorne's plan was radical, almost suicidal. We don't just act unpredictably. We act anti-predictably. We break our own patterns. We do the wrong thing, the illogical thing, the thing no human military leader, based on our history, would ever do. Valerius scoffed. You want us to throw away centuries of tactical doctrine just to confuse them? Exactly, Thorne insisted. We feed them chaos, but not random chaos. Intentional anti-patterns. We make their predictive models crash not because they can't process enough data, but because the data contradicts itself. We rewrite our future by actively defying our past. Over the next few weeks, the Human Unified Command executed Operation Paradox. A planned military offensive was abruptly canceled, replaced by a massive, illogical diversion of resources to a non-strategic civilian colony. Diplomatic negotiations, set to resume with a rival alien species, were suddenly broken off with an intentionally insulting message, only to be immediately followed by an offer of a wildly generous trade deal with a third, uninvolved party. Small fleet maneuvers were conducted not for tactical advantage, but in patterns that geometrically contradicted all known human military theory. The crawler, observing humanity, began to show signs of distress. Eldermind Cathar's thought form, previously a beacon of serene omniscience, began to flicker. Its projected form wavered, showing subtle asymmetries. Anomalies detected. Human behavior variance has exceeded 47.8% of historical probability. Resource allocation to designated civilian colony is statistically inefficient. Diplomatic engagement protocols with the Zalosian Accord are illogical, contradictory. These data points invalidate historical precedents. The crawler network, built on the elegant, unblemished data of the past, was struggling to process a future that actively defied its own history. Data overload. Cathar's thought resonated through the crawler network, raw and unmodulated, a rising panic. Prediction algorithms are destabilizing. Human illogicality is creating recursive feedback loops. Their past is no longer a reliable predictor of their future. Their species is changing its own history. The crawler, who understood every known pattern, every predictable outcome, were being undone by a species that was deliberately breaking its own rules. Finally, Cathar initiated a full-scale assault on the human home system, based on the only remaining logical prediction. A desperate, last-stand defense based on historical human military strategy. As the crawler fleet emerged from hyperspace, an enormous, perfectly symmetrical formation, Thorne and Valerius watched from the orbital command center. "They're coming with a historically inevitable attack," Thorne murmured. "Let's give them a historically impossible defense." Commander Valerius gave the order. The human fleet, instead of forming a defensive line, broke into a series of scattered, seemingly disorganized swarms. Ships, instead of firing on the enemy, performed bizarre, non-tactical maneuvers, broadcasting nonsensical data bursts. It was pure, intentional chaos, a nightmare for any logical predictive system. The crawler fleet, expecting an organized resistance, found itself trying to predict the movements of a swarm of mosquitoes, each flying in an arbitrary, self-contradictory pattern. "The human fleet is illogical," Cathar shrieked, his thought form convulsing. "Their movements are unquantifiable. Their energy signatures are random. Our targeting solutions are failing. Their history dictates a linear defense." This is a contradiction. Crawler vessels, unable to predict where the tiny, darting human ships would be, found their perfect firing solutions passing through empty space. Their entire coordination system, designed for a predictable enemy, collapsed under the sheer, deliberate unpredictability of humanity. Crawler ships, unable to process the conflicting data, began to crash into each other, their flawless internal systems overloading from mental paradox. "Withdraw," Cathar shrieked, his voice raw and broken. "Their chaos is contagious. It is unmaking our omniscience. Retreat from the illogical." The crawler hegemony, its perfect memory network shattered, its predictive capabilities nullified by human defiance, fled the system. Dr. Elias Thorne watched them go, a grim, triumphant smile on his face. "They ran," he whispered, "because we refused to be predictable. We chose to be human." Eldermind Cathar, after the humiliating retreat, never again threatened humanity with inevitability. The tale of the broken prediction spread, a legend whispered from starport to starport. It was said that humans didn't fight wars, they simply made your memories irrelevant. Cathar, his perfect logic shattered, initiated diplomatic contact. He had learned that human ingenuity wasn't about perfect foresight, but about the terrifying, liberating ability to reinvent oneself, to defy the past, and to constantly rewrite the future. It was a lesson that forced the crawler hegemony to fundamentally rethink their philosophy of knowledge and power. Humanity, the gloriously unpredictable anomaly, had shown the galaxy that true strength lay not in knowing everything, but in the boundless capacity to choose a path unseen, to create a future unpredicted, and to embrace the beautiful, illogical freedom of being human.